It is another concept album, this time about the superhero or supervillain sort of, known as Spawn. Now, if you don't know what Spawn is, he was like in the comics, he's like a CIA agent or something that was killed by the government because he knew too much or something like that. But he had killed a bunch of innocent people back in the day, so he was sent to hell, and now he's trying to get back to Earth and all this shenanigans. So, at first, the creator of Spawn did not want his idea to be used in this album, but after I think showing him a couple demos of Iced Earth and convincing them, because apparently John Schaefer's a master at the art of persuasion, he actually agreed, and he was very, very happy with the results of this album. Now, the Dark Saga is kind of a musical change for them, and they usually change their sound pretty much on every album except for their later ones. For this one, they kind of go for a more stripped down approach, but add a lot more melodies to it, so it's still very great music, it's just not as good. Also, another important fact is that Matt Barlow, believe it or not, actually now is taking vocal lessons at this point. At first, they kind of come off as a little annoying to me, but they pretty much are a vast improvement overall. So the artwork is Spawn, and he's got fire and shit all around him. It's kind of hard to see. It looks kind of like Dracula or something like that with what looks like wings, but it's just giant like collars or whatever on his suit. So the lineup is Matt Barlow on vocals, John Schaefer on rhythm guitar, Randall Scheuer has been the lead guitarist since Iced Earth, Dave Appel has also been the bass player since Iced Earth. This will be their last studio album with Iced Earth as well. The first song, The Dark Saga, is very interesting. It shows a lot more of a stripped down approach. There's not too much progression or real heaviness. It's more light sounding and more melodic. Another thing that kind of is annoying to me, sort of, is the drums on this album aren't that great. The drummer is definitely, in my opinion, a step down from the drummer of Burnt Offerings. And his tone just sounds really awkward to me. It's just way too loud. The song has really nice melodies though. Absolutely incredible singing for Matt Barlow. Nice chorus as well. I Died For You is another more like melodic and beautiful song. I probably like this song a lot better. It's sort of similar to a song that'll be on the next album. I believe it also has really great guitar solo. The singing's amazing as well. Like I said, I probably do like this better than The Dark Saga though. Easily one of my favorite songs of the whole album. It's very beautiful. And we are at Violate. This song is very, very heavy and just kind of thrashy. But what wrecks the song from being really great is the drums just sound really awkward. But the rest of the song's really good. It's more of a good song, not really a great song. The Hunter is another absolute fan favorite from this album, another live staple, and a beautiful song, very great. And so The Hunter features a lot of really cool choruses, a lot of great vocal lines, it's a great fusion of heaviness and melodic lines, so awesome soloing as well, one of my favorite songs of the whole album. The Last Laugh is another really great song. Like the next bunch of songs are like really heavy with some melodic parts. The first couple songs of this album are really, really, really melodic, but these are way heavier. This song is really, really heavy, but does, like I said, have some really melodic choruses and stuff to it. So yeah, another great song. The Depths of Hell is one of the weaker songs off this album, kind of like Violate. And it's slow, like the song Diary off of Burnt Offerings, and kind of has really cool bass lines that go throughout it that are just really chunky. And the lyrics are really cool as well. It's just, the chorus is just too weak for me to love it. It doesn't go too far to be a great song. And Vengeance Is Mine is the last normal song off this album. This song is very, very great as well. I believe the lyrics are by Matt Barlow, and it's one of my favorite songs off the whole album as well. It's very, very heavy and pretty epic at a lot of points as well, and has a nice middle section. And now we get to the first Iced Earth trilogy. Now, there are about 3 Iced Earth trilogies, I believe, where they have 3 songs at the end of the album that are all connected apparently. Now, Dante's Inferno on some versions is a trilogy, which is kind of weird. It's split up into part 1, part 2, and part 3 with several names of each little section with Denial and comma, the Lustful or something. All this weird, thousands of names. So I'm actually going to review the trilogies as one singular song, kind of like Dante's Inferno was. And it kind of seems like maybe the label had them split these massive epic tracks up into 3 songs instead of just this big epic progressive one, because record label just pretty much hate a lot of giant progressive songs like Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner and stuff like that, even though we fans love those songs. This trilogy is called the Suffering Trilogy. I believe it pretty much just sums up the whole story of Spawn. So the first part, The Scarred, is really heavy and dark, very cool melodic parts throughout. These 3-part songs are very progressive and work very well together. This intro is so creepy, and even creepier in some areas than Dante's Inferno. It has a very brooding atmosphere throughout it. And yeah, sometimes it reaches creepiness levels that are darker than Dante's Inferno, this first part. And it has a really cool fast solo section at the end, which leads into the next part, known as Slave to the Dark, which is actually, I think, my favorite part of the trilogy. It's a really, really great song with a lot of melodic choruses and heavy as hell riffs throughout it. It seemed like it would have belonged perfectly on Burnt Offerings. Now the final song, A Question of Heaven. This song's more kind of like a love song, sort of. I believe it also features backing vocals from Matt Barlow's wife or something like that. I think for the backing vocals this is Kate Barlow or something like that, so it's either his wife or his relative. I can't remember who though. So yeah, they're very cool melodic back and forthness from them. It's I think it's sort of the epic of the album, sort of, because a lot of these trilogies are the first 2 songs are just normal songs, but then the final part is an epic, even though they're all supposed to be sort of their one conjoined epic. But the final one is usually the longer song. So this is the epic at 7.5 minutes. It's a fan favorite to a lot of Iced Earth fans. It does have a lot of great melodies to it, and it's very beautiful. It also has a lot of great progression through it, and there's some really cool keyboarding epicness to it as well. A lot of power metal layers. And this album kind of sounds like they were starting to go a more power metal direction, and more stripped down melodic, kind of trying to be a little bit more mainstream, not full on sellout or anything, just a little bit more radio friendly than their dark as hell Burnt Offerings.